They will help you develop a personalized wealth strategy, one that can be flexible enough to evolve as your needs change. Plus, they can offer investing strategies designed to reduce the impact of taxes, all while making sure you understand what you're paying and why. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC.
It's time to get to the yard. It's time to get outside and make it amazing. To get to the grass in the sunny afternoons. It's the season to get your backyard ready for action. To get the lawn lush and green and get rid of those pesky patches. It's easy to make your lawn better than ever with Scotts. Because even though this year may feel different, the best things never change. So let's get to it. This is your season. Time to enjoy it. Scotts, get to the yard.
Hi, this is Jay Farner, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. We can help guide you to those right decisions now when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows. So when you call 8338-ROCKET or visit us at rocketmortgage.com to start your refinance, you'll be well on your way to saving money every month. The rate today on our 30-year fixed rate mortgage is 3.375%, APR 3.59%. Right now could be a great time for you to take some positive financial steps forward with a cash-out refinance from Rocket Mortgage, which could give you the boost that you're looking for. In addition, we may be able to help you refinance with little or no out-of-pocket costs. At Rocket Mortgage, we're committed to every client, every time, no exceptions, no excuses, giving you the best mortgage experience. Call us today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Rates subject to change.
Hey, any chance you have any of this DeMario Davis? I know it kind of came out when you guys were working, so.
No.
Okay, if I send you something.
Send it to me.
Okay.
Save. Cintas has the products and services
I've just been trying to find, the reason why I didn't say anything else is trying to find something
disinfectant
that's shorter than the 2.5 minute clip, but
our Ultra Clean service for
maybe if we
restrooms
just
uses
get
a
the first part
sanitizer
of this
effective
one.
against certain germs, bacteria, and viruses. And we'll help you stay well stocked with hand sanitizer,
gal?
face masks, and essential PPE. Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
My name is Megan Eddings, founder and CEO of Excel Lifestyle. Research shows that wearing a face mask drastically reduces the spread of the coronavirus. Excel Lifestyle's Prima antibacterial face masks are soft, washable, and double layer for added protection. To purchase you and your loved one's face mask, please go to excellifestyle.com. That's ACCEL lifestyle.com. Once we receive your order, we will ship your masks out immediately. Thank you and stay safe.
Scratching beneath the surface. It's the second level, presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
we're live on the stream, twitch.tv/Shander Show. You can follow along on Twitter as well. That would be at Shander Show. Ron Culver's here at Ron Culver, 2 N's. At SB Nation Radio if you'd like to tweet. And we even have a phone number if you choose to use it. A lot of times we just blow by it, but in conversations that span outside of sports, we open it up for anybody, 800-224-2004. DeMario Davis, the latest to speak. We'll get you some of that coming up at some point today. This just happened in the last hour or so. So he spoke on CNN, and I'll give you the big quote that's coming out, the reason why DeMario is trending right now in the country. I think that it is a form of true leadership, and I would say it because that's taking ownership. DeMario Davis on Drew Brees' apology. Here's the thing. Drew Brees made a ridiculous statement. It wasn't even accurate, as both Kenny's and Colin initially explained that it was never about disrespecting the flag. It was about kneeling against police brutality and raising awareness of a fight for basic human rights. It was immediately twisted, conflated, and the argument, it took, I think, 4 or 5 days, because like I am here working locally in Philadelphia, I was at the time as well, and I remember it wasn't even a week before people turned it into flag versus not the flag, disrespectful. I'm a military member. It's okay. Well, I'm a military member and it's not okay. It was like a Law and Order episode where Jack McCoy pulls one doctor up and completely shreds everything. And you're thinking, they're going to nail this guy to the wall here. And then Diane Melnick's expert is another doctor that comes up and just refutes everything. And you're left going into that final break in like the 42-minute mark, like, oh my goodness, I don't know what the heck's going to happen here. It's a back and forth that was completely done on purpose to derail the conversation initially from what Colin and the two Kennys were initially actually protesting about. So we've gone now to the point where Drew Brees, in this climate that we're living in, social climate over the last week and a half, 10 days, where he had to be either completely tone deaf to the point where he was not on social media, which we know that wasn't the case. He was not at all doing any type of interviews or interaction with anybody, which we know as this thing came out of the Yahoo Finance was not the case. No interaction at all. Like, think about how toned you would have had to be on the rocket, that Elon Musk rocket, and be shipped up to space, docking at the space station. Yahoo Finance comes in. They cut in on their feed, satellite feed. Well, Drew Brees, what? Even then, it's inexcusable because we should have all been past the point that Colin Kaepernick was never kneeling about, nor was it ever about disrespecting the flag or supporting the flag or anything about the flag. The flag was an argument, a distraction. Similar to how we see people, and it's evident now from Philadelphia all the way down to Atlanta, where local to state intelligence has picked up anything from arrests to actual merchandise that's resold somewhere in the suburbs that will continue to point to people that are not in this group infiltrating for their own personal means. Same thing happened here with the conversation with Kaepernick. So Drew Brees, I'm laying this out because there's no excuse. You either have to be so tone deaf that it would be equivalent to being on this rocket docking on the space station, or you just don't care. You just don't care that there are people that you share a lot. Let's just start there. I'm not going to start putting a finger and expecting unrealistic results like Drew Brees should connect with the everyman, even the everyman in New Orleans, the place where he plays and makes a ton of money. Let's just start with the easiest way to show and illustrate how foolish Drew Brees was in making his statement. The country right now, at the very least, is on edge. Like, the least you could say right now about our country regarding the reaction to the murder of George Floyd has been on edge. In most areas that we've seen protests develop into riots and then looting for outside reasons and influence mostly, yes, it's turned worse. Fences going up around the White House, military call. Yeah, worse. That's why I say best case scenario where you look around, it's like, okay, people are a little tense, on edge. That's best case scenario. And for Drew Brees to make a statement about protesting and bringing it to something that he in the NFL should have already known, like people around that cover the NFL already know, like people who follow the NFL already know, to make a statement that it offends him and he'll never stand against, even if he believes it, which he has a right to say it. In fact, he has a right to say it when he said it. But he also understands, mainly through this apology, and this is what I'm saying he understands, is that he has the right to feel the brunt of what he says via consequence. And clearly, from Michael Thomas's tweets to a bunch of other people in and around the NFL, putting the equivalent of hand on the forehead, what the hell are you doing? He set the argument back. That's what I'm most upset about. Drew Brees not listening to his teammates, unfortunately, is a microcosm. Where's Vic Fangio when you need him? Is a microcosm of our society at times when you do have somebody who's in a position of power or influence who doesn't have to listen as much as somebody who is following. And for Drew Brees to make those statements at this time in which we're all going through shows that he didn't care and wasn't listening during the last couple of years. So from there, we now move into the reaction to Breeze's comments and now the apology. And what is and continues to be the most ridiculous situation to be put in. Someone like Demario Davis or anyone else who plays with Drew Brees. This is not you going into your office. This is not me going into my studio. This is not a typical job. It's not. There is a lot of money. Big bucks are at stake here in the NFL. And it's ridiculous because we already have put everybody who plays in the NFL on notice when as soon as they come in and they become part of a 53-man roster that you could say something, you could go viral, you could be a celebrity, or you could be the infamous celebrity. You could be somebody out there. If you get in front of a camera and do something, we'll follow, we'll acknowledge it. And a lot of times it's done for good. Hey, my charity, this cause, and talking about other things or venturing outside of the NFL. But in this event, and we see it elsewhere, where somebody says something stupid or somebody says something unfortunate or somebody says something somewhere in the middle, and I would say Breeze said something stupid way more so than unfortunate. I wouldn't even add that in there. I'm just setting up parameters for other people. We go to teammates, and it happens a lot in sports when somebody says something that's bigoted or perceived as bigoted or comes out as going against the community, in this case, that has been fighting for the last 10 days visibly on television for awareness. And what happens now is Demario Davis and others are going to be put in this unfortunate and lose-lose situation where if they come out and continue to push this thing, hell no, I'm not accepting any apology. That's nonsense. He owes more than that. Make a donation. Start demanding. This is the same NFL league that kept Colin Kaepernick out for doing exactly what Drew Brees and now others are talking about. You think that all of a sudden they won't be sensitive to this topic? And guess who's going to win way more often than not in a battle of power? And it's not simply going to be, oh, you're suspended again. No, it's contracts start coming around. This is where you begin to look at systemic control. Notice I said control in the NFL. Because all of a sudden you're going to start to see guys maybe who are vocal and anti-Drew Brees, and Michael Thomas has job security. Hell, Demario Davis has job security. But it's a fight that you open up now internally. And no matter how much support you get outside, as we've seen with Kaepernick and others, if you want to even look at Chris Kluwe as a lesser example, tons of opportunity for public support could swell up, and all of this behind you, it's not going to save your job. It's not. And when you start looking around and you don't get another call back, or you go and you either interview or you have message. You go out there, anything like that, as far as, looking ahead of it, there's probably something, even if it's just a workout, there's probably something in the back of your mind. All right, let's listen. Thank you, Ron Culver, who is just fantastic. And I don't care what Jake Asman says on the stream because I could see that in the break live. But you are a fantastic producer who could turn audio around like that. And shame on me for not even looking at my text earlier. Let's listen to Demario Davis on Drew Brees. We'll take a quick break, reset, talk a little bit about the NBA. Robert Littal is going to join us 11:40 a.m. Eastern. But this is Davis on Brees.
In hearing Drew's apology, and that's the first, I heard it. I think that is a form of true leadership, and I would say it because that's taking ownership. What we had hoped the first time was that Drew would elaborate more on racism and the sentiments of the Black community, and he admitted he missed the mark. So for him to come out and say, I missed the mark, I've been insensitive, but what I'm going to start doing is listening and learning from the Black community and finding ways that I can help them. I think that's a model for all of America.
All right. My question is very simple. And what was going on over the last 3, 4, 5, 6 years? And why did it take him coming out? And look, at some point, we're going to have to admit that people can say something, admit they've made a mistake, and try and learn from it. And Drew Brees, I don't think that this is cancel Brees or anything like that. But he himself is going to have to show people in that locker room. He doesn't owe me anything. He doesn't owe you anything. First and foremost, he owes, and it's not just going to be through, and this is where I disagree, but here's the thing. I don't have to work with Drew Brees nor his bosses. And this is why it's unfair for Demario Davis, for Michael Thomas, for countless other players that Brees plays with to be the voice of anything regarding Brees and the reaction to Brees. Like it's almost as if the media is now going to Thomas and Davis and how should we react? You know how to react to Drew Brees. He's a moron for saying that. And he clearly has learned nothing over the last 4 to 5 years in a locker room surrounded by people that don't look like him, that have been making the same arguments as Colin Kaepernick, even if it's not 50 other guys, even if it's just 10 to 15. At Shandor Show, twitch.tv/Shandor Show. Interesting theory regarding the NBA coming up next here on the second level.
Wake up call.
Nice, man.
We know maybe
no worries.
Back, but eventually it will, and eventually
I decided to just really grab what he was when he was talking about Brees.
I'm sorry?
That I said I only focused on when he was talking about Brees.
Yeah, thank you.
Because after that, he went into, speaking out more about, the social injustices that have been going on, what needs to be done. And
good.
It's like, okay, we just want to focus on Brees. That's our story.
Yep.
Murder Hornet mascot running through the stadium.
Wouldn't it be cool if you have like a race between a bee and a murder hornet? Like, everybody, now let's.
The hardest part was finding the clip.
The murder hornet is going to be.
It wasn't in the
running
beginning,
against-
huh?
No, the one you sent me, I couldn't download.
Interesting.
And then I found another one, and I couldn't download that one either. I was like, damn.
With
like somebody put like a protection around it?
Yeah, I wonder, was it just because it was Twitter?
I have no idea. I finally found it through CNN Breaking News, but it was that little section, that 40 seconds that you heard was part of a 5-minute clip.
Wow.
Well, the countdown is on. Sports will be back.
Do we have the Belmont audio by any chance?
If there's a line for it.
Belmont for,
I think a horse named Prisoner
Game
beat
Time
Fauci
Decisions with Gabe Morency.
and the Belmont.
no.
I'm going to try to find the audio here.
The second level.
I want you to let this play, and I'm just going to go on this big rant on MLB. Let's see what the juxtaposition sounds like with Beethoven underneath me ranting and raving about MLBs. You better go full right now, heavy into the tournament. That's the only thing you can do to salvage this selfish offseason that you've had, to salvage any type of positive PR back from the fans. And don't just expect, because it's on TV, people will.
I found it.
Can't go George
you have the audio?
Costanza in that meeting with the NBC president of, well, it's on TV. That's why people are watching. How did that work? It was a little cathartic, hopefully, for you out there. You want to do that at 12:10? It was great for me. It does feel therapeutic.
Whatever you want.
Classical music. I don't know if it would work with any other type of music.
The second level. Weekdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern.
Hey everybody, RJ Ochoa here from SB Nation's bloggingtheboys.com, your home for the best Dallas Cowboys coverage on the web. And did you know that we have a podcast feed? The Blogging the Boys podcast feed has daily episodes breaking down the latest and greatest in the world of America's team. We have multiple shows, multiple analysts, including a Super Bowl winner, 2-time Super Bowl champion Tony Casillas is part of our rotation, and we want to make sure you are as well. We're available on Apple, Spotify, and wherever else you get your podcasts. So don't miss out. Subscribe to the Blogging the Boys podcast feed today.
You're listening to The Second Level, presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, with way more than the scores, here's Eitan Shander.
We expect in about an hour the NBA Board of Governors to ratify everything and make it official. And we talked about LeBron James and the conversation that's coming at some point yesterday with the NBA back and knowing that you have a full playoffs, including a championship, even if it goes 7 games, the NBA has allotted for that. Now, there's some things that have come out regarding the home court advantage. And the other topic is what happens with Kevin Durant, meaning is he healthy enough to play? Could he be on there with the Nets this year? Versus just watching Kyrie, knowing that he'd be back healthy as well. A Kyrie and KD Nets team this year, even without any real practice, could be dangerous. Dangerous like, a third party. Who's the most dangerous? Ron, let's look at this, okay? Who's the most dangerous third-party candidate ever in the history of an election? Ross Perot? Like, who took away Ralph Nader? Who took away the most votes for either candidate that you could argue if that person wasn't there, the other candidate would have won? Ross Perot, I felt like, got blamed a lot, and then so did Nader. Now, two guys on the complete opposite spectrum, of course, but as you know, they become circular at some point. We'd have to look, I guess, at other third-party candidates as well. But those two, for some reason, I think are going to be of the most famous. But taking away, right, from the votes, and if you remove them from the race, you'd say, well, it's the clear-cut reason why this candidate lost. Not knowing, of course, what's going to happen and if Kevin Durant could even play, I think throwing that equation in there, a healthy Durant and a healthy Irving, is enough to be like a third-party candidate, is enough to be like Ross Perot or Ralph Nader and really mess somebody's campaign up. I mean, even look at where they'd be in the playoffs. Talking about the 7th seed. I mean, I'm crossing my fingers that my Sixers could do something as the 6th seed going up against a clear-cut better team in Boston. Al Horford ain't sprinkling any magic dust over his old team and having him wilt. That's going to be a problem. First-round problem right there for Philadelphia, according to the current seeding.
Shine a little history on this.
I'm ready.
For you. You ready?
Were you researching this? Is that why you didn't?
Just now, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you have Ross Perot in 92 or in 96. He's actually the worst of the third-party candidates.
As far as total votes?
Yeah.
What criteria are you using?
This is electoral votes.
Yeah, okay, so that's what I'm saying is when you look at overall votes.
And what place they finished.
Correct. But I wonder, though, like Ross Perot.
You can't use total votes. You got to use percentage of votes.
Yes, but
because obviously Ross Perot had more votes, would have had more votes because
he won bigger states.
Yeah, there were bigger. The population is bigger.
But here's the thing, though.
And by that rationale, he finished. He would be third on this list from his 1992 campaign.
Yes, but my question, though, is how much of this factors in who people are pulling votes from? Like, no Democrat was going to vote for Ross Perot.
Right.
It was just, you're either going to vote for Bush or Perot.
Yeah, and none of these parties.
Same thing with the Republican and Nader.
Yeah, none of these parties are traditional ones in minority.
Correct. But do you understand my question? In looking at who messed up the other two-party candidates the most, I get what you're saying, which is who was most successful overall. But I wonder if we could look at it like, because Nader's not pulling any Republican votes like Perot wasn't pulling any Democratic votes. So is it safe to assume that the majority of these guys' votes came from the respective party that they branched off from?
You mean?
Meaning if you were undecided and you leaned right, you were going to vote Ross Perot because you were sick and tired of the establishment. And if you were undecided and have leaned left in your voting history, you were going to vote for Ralph Nader instead of, was it Gore that Nader ran up against? I forget. But that was my point.
Sounds about right. I'll get back to you on that because I'm doing a little bit of quick little research.
I love it. See, this is what I'm trying to make the analogy stick. And I feel like if Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are healthy and 100%, it's not a well-oiled, cohesive machine yet to where you could say they're a threat to go deep and win something, but they're a threat to now knock off Toronto. if they could put this thing together in 8 games and all of a sudden look like they're merging and playing well, then they sure as heck are a threat to knock off Toronto. At that point, who knows? But I'm just saying that would be the equivalent of a Perreault or Nader. Now, who is the third guy? We said Perreault and Nader. You said 3. I'm sorry, Ron. Who is the third guy involved in all this? I'm sure it's a name, an obvious name that I've missed.
Oh, you mean like who is the best third-party candidate?
You said that the Ross Perreault would have come in third behind Nader, and I assume somebody
Ross
else.
Perreault. I don't know if it was Nader.
Oh, okay. You're just talking about who Perreault went up against.
Well, yeah, no. If you want to take third-party candidates,
yes,
in
like
history,
that's what I'm saying. Who is
right?
the most famous?
Nader's not even on the list.
Who?
Nader's not even on the list.
Who is William Jennings Bryan?
Well, we go all the way back. Let me see. I'm going to see if Nader's
Didn't Jennings Bryan run on an
Ross
independent
Perreault
ticket?
on this list for people who got percentage of the votes, because we've had a kind of adjusted a little bit since Ross Perreault got 19 million votes. Well, I mean, none of these people were probably around when there was 19 million people. Nader doesn't even show up on this list of third-party candidates who actually made a dent in the election.
Who are the top 3?
Number 3 is Ross Perreault. Number 2 is a guy by the name of Millard Fillmore.
Oh, I remember him.
He was the president of the United States
Right.
and then ran under a different party, the American Party.
What a sneak. He thought
And tried to get in.
his own party kicked him out. He's like, all right, well, mess this up. I'm going to go out and start my own
Well, be
party.
careful what you say, because this person, the number 1 person, wasn't kicked out of his party. He decided to run again under a different one, through a different party.
Oh, that's happening in this after this election, regardless. I can promise you that. Like that, this guy isn't going anywhere. He's going to find some sort of fringe party. Where's Dennis Kucinich and like the flip version of him? Like they're going to find something like that. So who's the third? Who's the number 1, the most famous third-party candidate of all time?
Theodore Roosevelt.
Wow.
He actually finished second in the election.
The Rough Riders?
No, progressives.
Okay. I didn't know if he came under something. So he was president, served his terms.
He was president 2 terms.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Served his terms.
He has his face on Mount Rushmore. And then came back again and tried to run for a 3rd term.
As a progressive. Well, that's progressive thinking. You keep me here, I'll just do it under a different name.
Selling insurance.
You can't knock him for at least trying, right, to resell it. All right, a lot's going on, and we did this with Xavier Pope. I wanted to do it with another familiar voice who's been on this program. Robert Littal is going to come on, take over next.
Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. When you turn to Rocket Mortgage, we can help guide you to those right decisions now when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so now is a great time to call 8338-ROCKET. And if you need some extra money, a cash-out refinance could give you that financial boost you're looking for. Call today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Your employees and customers have new expectations when it comes to cleanliness. Cintas has the products and services you need to feel prepared. A trained Cintas technician can apply disinfectant and sanitizer spray to common surfaces. And we'll keep you well stocked with gloves, face masks, hand sanitizer, and disinfectant wipes.
Hey, do you have Robert's number
Professional
still?
cleaning supply.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Just a few ways Cintas can help you keep your business safe. Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
We're all in uncharted territory, looking for ways to support our communities. At Dell Technologies, we're making sure small businesses have the right tech solutions. Dell Technologies advisors are here for you, from helping small businesses stay connected and productive while working remotely with Windows 10 and Microsoft Teams, to rapidly deploying remote work solutions that limit upfront costs with Dell Financial Services. We're standing by you every step of the way. Call 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
At CDW, we get that in business, the only certainty is uncertainty.
I agree. Or do I? I do, I think.
Well, an APC micro data center solution implemented by the experts at CDW provides certainty that your infrastructure will deliver the performance and support your business needs. So you're ready for anything.
I'm somewhat, maybe reasonably confident. That sounds great.
IT orchestration by CDW. People who get it. Find out more at cdw.com/APC.
I will, probably.
You're going on a trip, but where are you going to stay? How much will it cost? Well, it'll cost less by booking on besthotelrates.com. BestHotelRates.com works with all the top hotels in the country while delivering you great hotel and room choices for the best prices. Why wait? Go to BestHotelRates.com, enter your email address, and start shopping for your next hotel room. BestHotelRates.com, it's in the name. BestHotelRates.com.
Hello, friends. It's Jim Nance. Right now, the greater Houston community has more than 1.1 million food insecure people. That's why the Spirit Golf Association created the Spirit Food Fund. The goal is to raise $2 million and provide hundreds of volunteers. Please text Spirit Food Fund to 41444 and help with whatever you can. Donate to the Spirit Food Fund, benefiting the Houston.
Mr. Lital is ready.
Thank you.
Dealing with the root of the issues. It's the second level, presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
So as we see the return of the NBA, we know that the NHL, the NFL hasn't budged. Baseball is still just slowly moving their steps, hoping to get back. It's not at all going to block out what's happening around our country. And as we see, there is no more anymore, as there never should have been, a call or cry to stick to sports when people inside the sports we cover, like Drew Brees and others, continue to make statements that deserve a lot of scrutiny, reaction, and attention. So with so many things happening that are in and around our world and way more important than getting back on the field or getting back on the ice, we bring in a friend of the program, familiar friend and voice, Robert Lital, Black Sports Online at BSO, TMZ Sports on Fox Sports as well. And I know that there are a lot of things going on in your mind, and what you're feeling right now is you have been for years living on this planet, Robert. So I'm just going to welcome you and thank you for your time and ask you a very simple question, and take it as long as you want, and we can chat about some other things. But I want you, to just feel and take this over as your own platform for the next couple of minutes as we have time to chat here. How are you feeling? How are you really feeling right now?
Well, let me tell you something. People ask that all the time. And of course you feel, angry, sad, all the emotions that, a regular human should feel when they see the type of things that we've been seeing for a very long period of time in our country. I think the saddest feeling that I have is honestly just numbness to the fact that that these things are happening, and regardless of the protests, regardless of the people speaking out, in the back of your mind you wonder, when is the next one? This one goes away, when is the next one? I mean, this is like the third one. You had the young lady who the cop shot while she was sleeping. You had Ahmaud Arbery, who was jogging when he was shot. And then you have George, Floyd. This was all in a 2-month time frame. And you see something like this happening, and it's 2020, and you say to yourself, especially as I've gotten older, I said, man, I was a teenager when Rodney King happened. And I saw what happened then. And then you realize that your parents who were around in the 50s and the 60s, what they had to go through with the civil rights movement. And you say, hey, my great-grandfather, and great-grandmother, what did they have to go through? And it seems like a perpetual cycle. And then the feeling becomes numbness, because you have to wonder in the back of your mind, are things going to change? Because for things to change, you need people up top, the people that run our country, to want things to change. And when things come from up top, where the slogan is "Make America Great Again," and I have to ask myself, when exactly was that time for Black people? When was that time for Mexican people? When was that time for immigrants? When exactly was it so great, for us, that we could pinpoint that time and say, that's what the time that we want to go back to? Because, I don't want to go back to the 90s. I don't want to go back to the 60s. I definitely don't want to go back to the 1800s. So when exactly was that time? And then when these types of situations happen, and then you see up top that you see that the reaction to it is, and I'm just using the words that were used by Trump, is to dominate. To me, when you say you want to dominate a particular class of people, a class of people that are protesting against things that are being done to them, and you say you want to dominate them, to me that says that you want to keep the status quo. You want to keep things in check. You want to stay on top and keep these people submissive and just make them accept what they have. We've seen with George Floyd, you saw the video of George Floyd, and any honest, good human would say, if I saw that video, even if maybe, I had been doing wrong things before, maybe I should take a step back and look at these things and change my behavior. But all I've seen over the past week and a half are videos of cops still putting knees and necks. I saw a kid get beat up on a bike with batons from the NYPD. I listened to the LAPD scanner, and they're putting bounties on black people, and they didn't call us black, they called us that other thing, and Mexican people, and saying Trump said shoot on sight. So I'm not seeing the change that is supposed to happen. What I'm seeing is actually, and with stuff like Drew Brees, I'm seeing things where I'm opening my eyes, and I hope other people are opening their eyes to see who we really are as a country and who people are, because you can see it by their actions. You got to use your eyes. You can't trust the media. You can't trust all. You just use your eyes, and you can see that we are a country that is not that great and was never that great before, especially to minorities.
Yeah, Robert, and I'm looking at social media, and I'm just so torn by it because it's a vehicle to expose people, yet at the same time, it's just constantly clouded with misinformation, knowing that bots and all these other things are aimed to post videos that are clipped and aimed to get some sort of PR battle and some sort of positive swing back to the sides of the police state. But as you mentioned, I recognize the value of people that may not even realize they're exposing themselves with a tweet or two or a comment or a video or something on Twitter, knowing that we didn't have that without social media.
Absolutely. I mean, I think the positive side of social media is, for a very long time in our country, black and brown people would say, hey, this is what's happening to us. This is what the cops are doing to us. This is what the government is doing to us. This is what the prosecutors and the DAs are doing to us. And in general, white America would say, we don't believe it. Cops are the good guys. Politicians are the good guys. The president's a good guy. And they just wouldn't believe it. So you're lying. You're not telling the truth. A cop wouldn't do this. A politician wouldn't do this. No one would say this. Your coworker, oh, you're not being discriminated against at work or at school or, whatever it may be. That's because we don't see it, quote unquote. We don't see it. Now, I think it's even a little bit scarier because they see it, and I'm still not really seeing the amount of change that you would say, look, these people haven't been lying, for 400 years. This stuff is actually happening. It's happening in a far, wide-ranging scale. And you still see people say, well, we don't know the full story, or maybe it was this, or maybe it was that. And I think that maybe is the biggest difference with the George Floyd situation, is that video was not from a distance. It was not blurry. It was not, you couldn't see one side. The body camera, was actually, things were all, there wasn't all of these variables where you can make up an excuse. He was looking right at you. The person that was murdering him, the cop that was murdering, was looking right at you casually with his hand in his pocket for basically 10 minutes. And you couldn't get away from that. You heard what he was saying. You heard him begging and pleading, for his life, asking for his mom who passed away. And that's a visceral reaction. But the crazy thing about it is we see that. It's right in our face. There's no way around it. Any normal, compassionate human would say, well, people should be outraged about this. And then we see what happened in the next week. And in the next week that happened after that, it wasn't, hey, let's do everything that we can to make these people feel like equals and that justice is going to be served. It actually seems like the opposite. It seems like that some of the actions that are being done by these police chiefs, these governors, these mayors, the president, is let's show them that, yeah, we see that this happened, but that doesn't mean that it's going to change. We're still going to put our knees on your neck regardless of the situation. And 9 times out of 10, we're going to get away with it.
Robert Littal joining us at BSO Black Sports Online, TMZ Sports on Fox Sports 1 as well. And, you know, it's part of the depressing element in this conversation, not the one we're having, but the general conversation, and including the one we're having, because you've mentioned it twice, and it's just glaringly obvious that we are not seeing the change that was supposed to happen in the last 10 to 14 days since the murder of George Floyd carry over widespread. Now, we've seen it in our own echo chambers, and which have grown. But to your point, we've seen resistance on the other side. If it's social media, if it's a column, if it's somebody on TV, or if it's just a group of people showing up to counter protest or incite a riot in order to take over a protest.
Right. And like I said, that's the real sad, part, because I try to be rational about things in life, right? Some things are just super clear. A cop, murdered someone in broad daylight on the street. The reaction shouldn't be, let's go out and tear gas and shoot rubber bullets at the media. And it shouldn't be that. It should be like, hey, maybe this is time for us to have a real conversation. Maybe this is the time, that we figure out how we need to reform the police. Imagine if you were the police force, right? And you say that your job is to protect and serve. You want the communities, to trust you. You want to say that, hey, this guy or these 4 guys, they were just bad cops. This is not the overall, the police, force. This is not how the real police force is. But there's nothing to suggest, based off what you've seen over the last couple of days, that there are definitely more people like Derek Chauvin, the cop that murdered George Floyd, than not. If anything, it seems like the majority of the police forces around the country don't seem to have a problem with it, because they're using the same type of force tactics that killed George Floyd. I mean, we've seen so many. It's hard to just pinpoint anyone in particular. I mean, but we saw one where it was literally 2 college students trying to drive home to get back home before curfew. The cops smashed their windows, slashed their tires, breaks the guy's arm, pulls the young woman out of the car, tases the guy who already had a situation with epilepsy, tases the guy 3 times in the heart, and, just did it like it was just a regular Friday, like it wasn't a big deal. And so until that changes, we can march, we can protest, we can have signs and everything. But at some point, all of this has to come to a head. Someone said something very profound to me. I think it's like a civil war. And they're like, something, the Civil War never stopped, really. It just changes tactics. It's just under a different name, because we're obviously not a country that's united together.
Well, then I'll ask you, and I think it's a question that I need to ask you, because it's something that needs to be discussed, really, in order to have people up top, whoever they are, whatever party they serve, address systemic issues at its root. But how can we honestly look and approach the other side? And I don't mean, the politicians that are going to, I mean the people they represent. I don't mean Donald Trump or Candace Owens. I mean the people the 24 million people that will retweet her video. Is it too late, I guess is my question. Is it too late, in your opinion, to reach them?
Those people, yes. Yeah, I think, I always say you can't change someone's racist. Someone has that type of evil in their heart. You're just wasting your time trying to rationalize with them or try to get them to see the other side. If someone's a bad person, they're just a bad person. I think what we need to do is we have to clean things out, from the top, down. And that means we have to vote in people. That's really the main issue, is that it's, not to, use a comic book reference, but it's like Hydra. Once it infiltrates the system, it's very difficult to weed out all of the negativity and all the negative people on there. So it's like you have to get these first. I mean, the first step is obviously you have to get Trump out of office. because nothing is going to change while he's in office, because he's basically the ringleader of all of this stuff. He's the top guy, president of the United States. And then from that point on, that doesn't mean that, we've won. That's just one step. You got to change the attorney general. You have to flip the Senate and the House. You have these DAs and these judges and these police chiefs. You have to hold them accountable in every little county that you're in, and bring it to light. If you're a police chief in your small county somewhere in the United States you feel is racist or disproportionate towards Black people, you got to get that information over to us or to somebody that can put it out there. Because over the past week, we've gotten, several people out of the paint that are problematic who are in positions of power. And we just have to do more of that. And it's going to take a long time. I don't know if it's going to, something that's happening, going to happen within my lifetime. But it has to start at some point. I think we took some steps forward when we had President Obama. But I think what happened was having President Obama brought all of the weeds up. How it rains, the weeds all come up. I think those people that were in hiding, those people that had these feelings of anger toward minorities, all of that stuff came to the surface when they saw the possibility of a country that could be equal for all.
Robert, I can't thank you enough, definitely, just for coming on, sharing your thoughts, your feelings, and talking to me and my audience. Thank you, sir, as always.
No problem. You guys have a good one and be safe out there.
You too. Robert Littal at BSO on Twitter. We'll wrap the hour next. Trouble brewing in Florida State.
Let's go. Pushing the odds with Matt Perrault.
I want to talk about baseball and the money conversation. What's going on?
It's going to be tight, yeah?
Oh, okay. We'll talk about that.
No, you got no time.
Okay.
I'm on the air, kiddo. I can't talk right now, okay?
Do you want to kill the
We'll talk
rejoin?
later, okay?
No, we have enough time to bring the rejoin. It's just going to go right into. Don't worry, I got it taken care of.
Okay.
Want to come on the radio or what?
You'll be able to talk during the outro bed.
Just say hi. Then
okay.
You can be gone, okay?
I'm just going to promote what's coming up.
You're on the radio now. That microphone's on. You're on the radio now.
Hi, bye.
Those are headphones. Yes, you do. So, yeah, that's my life now, okay? I'm getting interrupted doing national radio with a 5-year-old running in and out, okay? Thanks, hon. Appreciate it. I'll come talk to you during the commercial break. Oh, boy. Okay.
Now, how much do you think
Pushing the odds with Matt Perrault.
actual
Weekday afternoons
hardwood
from
home
1 to 4
court
Eastern on
or
SB
higher seated
Nation
hotel
Radio.
choice really matters?
Pharrell.
The Cowboys want to make Dak the second
Like, are there
highest
dumps?
paid
Is that
quarterback
what-
in the
is
league.
that what it's
Dak
gonna be?
wants to make the most money. Essentially, every guy in the league that's a quarterback,
I have no idea.
35 and 35 million, aren't they all making fat money? And aren't they all the eventual demise? These contracts with quarterbacks, the demise of football teams. When you have to pay one guy that much money, it breaks up the team.
Pharrell Coast to Coast with Scott Pharrell. Weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern. Into the night.
Now imagine how pissed off Bryce Harper must have been while he's playing Fortnite with the bros. And he gets dropped in. All of a sudden, his computer beeps, and you have a new message.
Right. Incoming email.
Incoming email from the commissioner. And then he says, bros, I got to stop the Fortnite, man. I'm kicking ass here. I got to put down my joysticks. Brah. By the way, that's Snell Bra, man. That dude, that's my boy right there. And he's got to read a 67-page report, Harry Mays.
There's no way Snell Bra made it to page 3. Okay? Let's be real.
Snell Bra probably opened the first page and said, screw this.
He's not getting paid $7 million to read this.
Hell no. 67 pages. You got to pay me double what I was supposed to get.
And then I'm getting taxed.
It's just not worth it, man. It's just not worth it.
I mean, I'm only getting paid to read 20 pages of it.
Into the Night with Tony Bruno and Harry Mays. Weeknights at 10 Eastern. Introducing AutomotiveMap.com. A brand new website for anyone interested in what's happening in the world of automobiles. From reviews on the latest vehicles to vintage rides to tips on keeping your family safe on the road, AutomotiveMap.com has something for you. If you love cars, trucks, and SUVs, and the amazing technology hitting your favorite showroom, check out the brand new AutomotiveMap.com.
Oh, we got some time.
You're listening to The Second Level, presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, with way more than the scores, here's Eitan Shander.
Second hour, John McMullen's going to join us 12:40 Eastern. We've got fake news at 12:25 with Ron Culver. Two things in the NBA alternative to home court advantage that I don't necessarily know are going to be big advantages. And where we'll begin when we get back is trouble brewing for the Seminoles. Florida State's head coach made a couple of no-nos, and he's being exposed. You think it was bad with Drew Brees? Wait until you hear what Mike Norvell did. My goodness. Also, the Brickyard 400. No fans this year with NASCAR. Right now, at least. Lot to get to coming up. All right, man. I will be right back.
Pharrell.
I like hearing the Bundesliga players chirping and the coaches yelling, even though I can't understand a word they're saying in German. I took 1 year of German in high school, and it didn't work out so well for me, the whole German thing. I didn't do well with their language. But I can say, Guten Tag, bitte schön, auf Wiedersehen.
Pharrell Coast to Coast with Scott Pharrell. Weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern. Pharrell.
I like hearing the Bundesliga players chirping and the coaches yelling, even though I can't understand a word they're saying in German. I took 1 year of German in high school, and it didn't work out so well for me, the whole German thing. I didn't do well with their language. But I can say, Guten Tag, bitte schön, auf Wiedersehen.
Pharrell Coast to Coast with Scott Pharrell. Weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern.
Wake up call. Raiders and Saints, right? Big game. Opening up the brand new stadium. But you know what's going to be missing? There's going to be like 15 people in the shot. The black hole is going to have like 4 participants.
Do you think only AI and D show up?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. AI and D, right. That's the only ones they got. Like, yeah, that's all we can fit in. Social distancing.
Both R's.
S is out. Both R's are gone. They wouldn't let them in the stadium.
Which quarterback is going to shush the crowd?
That's what I was wondering. Which quarterback is going to have the guts to go up to a crowd and go, quiet? I would do it every time I was in the red zone this season. That would be my thing. You're going to be able to hear, beer, beer. Which one of you 5 want beer? Yeah, I'm over here. Yeah, all right. It's going to be a walk, but it'll be fine. I'll get there.
Wake up call with Tony D and Ron Cole.
Raiders and Saints, right? Big game. Opening up the brand new stadium. But you know what's going to be missing? There's going to be like 15 people in the shot. The black hole is going to have like 4 participants.
Do you think only AI and D show up?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. AI and D, right. That's the only ones they got. Like, yeah, that's all we can fit in. Social distancing.
Both R's.
S is out. Both R's are gone. They wouldn't let them in the stadium.
Which quarterback is going to shush the crowd?
That's what I was wondering. Which quarterback is going to have the guts to go up to a crowd and go, quiet? I would do it every time I was in the red zone this season. That would be my thing. You're going to be able to hear, beer, beer. Which one of you 5 want beer? Yeah, I'm over here. Yeah, all right. It's going to be a walk, but it'll be fine. I'll get there.
Wake up call with Tony D and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings. Game time decisions.
I'm Gabriel Morency, inviting you to join me and the Raging Redhead Cam Stewart weekdays at 6 Eastern on SB Nation Radio, the loudest station in the nation. No games, no problem. We've got your back. Weekdays at 6, we throw it down. Best bets, props. If they're playing, we'll find a number on it. Bring it. Weekdays at 6, SB Nation Radio, Game Time Decisions.
Game time decisions with Gabe Morency and Cam Stewart. Weekdays at 6 p.m. Eastern. Into the night.
Ernie Johnson, the host of the NBA on TNT, joins us right now. Ernie, so there seems to be a lot of pushing and pulling from different sides around the NBA on whether or not to get this thing going again. Do you feel that that's going to happen?
Well, I mean, if there's pushing and pulling in the NBA, it's just a reflection of the society that we're living in now, too, because you see states, some are opening things back up quicker than others are, and others are exercising more caution. And so I think it's the same way with the NBA. I mean, you're dealing with 30 NBA cities, and the rules aren't the same for everybody. So that makes it impossible, Tony, to say, oh, yeah, well, it looks like things are right on track to start playing again on this date. And I've said it since day one. If you're going to go back to work on this, if the season is going to resume, man, you better be pretty darn sure that this is safe, and you won't have to worry. And to me, you can't do that yet. And I don't know if we will see a resumption of the season.
Into the Night with Tony Bruno and Harry Mays. Weeknights at 10 Eastern.
Wake up call! And one of the things I do like about Rodgers that is not like other quarterbacks in this league, and even veterans in this league who tend to not speak their mind, Rodgers speaks his mind. He's going to probably have a lot to say about this organization not meeting the team that was a win away from the Super Bowl.
So gone are the days of
it's a nature's promise, but it's basically peanut butter and cocoa dots.
Wake up call with Tony
like
D
puffs,
and Ron Culver.
You know, like
Weekdays.
peanut butter and cocoa. I figure.
Listen to the car guru himself, Mike Cruising with Matt Peralt, every Saturday morning from 7 to 8 Eastern on Let's Talk Wheels, right here on SB Nation Radio. Join Mike and Matt as they talk about
Not really.
World of Cars. To get more content on your favorite team, you can check out our friends at SBNation.com.
You know, I'm one of these
they
people
have
where if I can buy
team-specific sites to
something
fit your
that's
needs,
bad for
whether
me
it's
at a healthy
basketball,
place, I feel
baseball,
better about
NFL,
eating
or the school you graduated from. SB Nation has you.
They just go all in. Just go get yourself some Count Chocula.
Of Rocket Mortgage.
Well, this is the
Making
equivalent
the right
of
financial
like
decisions has never been more important.
It's like
When
the
you turn to
healthy
Rocket
version
Mortgage,
of Reese's.
we can help guide you to
and,
those right
those
decisions
Reese's
now
Puffs.
when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so now is a great time to call 8338-ROCKET. And if you need some extra money, a cash-out refinance could give you that financial boost you're looking for. Call today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Set your system's volume control for slightly above the normal listening level.
Let's go. Second level thinking is defined as looking beyond the easy, obvious conclusions.
You got to do some smart thinking.
Welcome to the second level. A Gal Media property in partnership with Jacob Media, where we go beyond the box score. Presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Rocket Mortgage is with you every step of the way. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's your host, Eitan Shander.
There is trouble brewing with the Seminoles as their new head coach has a problem. Now, they just fired a guy. They owe him a lot of money. They bring in a new guy. I don't even know if this guy's going to coach. To be honest with you, we're talking about a serious situation, but I laugh because how can people be so foolish? How can people be so tone deaf and irresponsible? That's what's comedic at this point, because it's almost like they're going out of their way to do it. We just had Drew Brees have to apologize and back down a couple of comments that he made regarding players that will be kneeling and protesting coming up this year. And yes, it's ridiculous that we would even have to go through the merits of that once again, because Brees was wrong and had no idea what was going on around him or inside his locker room, wherever. Now you have something that, and I hate to put it on any type of hierarchy, so I won't say is worse, but is equally as ridiculous. Florida State's new head coach, Mike Norvell, put out a claim that he reached out to the players that he's now been hired to coach. Hasn't coached yet, but he's been there long enough to know that he's been hired to coach these kids. So last December, he's brought in and told The Athletic that after protest erupted recently, he, quote, had a lot of open communication and, quote, went back and forth individually with every player. Well, Marvin Wilson, one of the team's stars, has come out on a tweet saying that's not true. According to Wilson, they got a generated text sent to everybody. No one-on-one talk between us and Coach. Wilson said he and his teammates were, quote, outraged by the claim and will not be working out until further notice. Good luck down there, Florida State. Maybe you don't need a coach. Maybe you're better off at this point. Who knows? A lot going on. Second hour, second level.
At CDW, we get putting productivity within reach of remote employees.
That's why I'm WFC, working from couch and moving everything within arm's length, like the microwave. Lunchtime.
You should talk to the experts at CDW. They can orchestrate a more efficient workspace solution using light, powerful devices from Lenovo to keep your teams productive from anywhere, couch included.
Yeah, but do they have grabber claws?
Whoops. IT orchestration by CDW. People who get it. Learn more at cdw.com/Lenovo Client.
Hi, this is Jay Farner, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. We can help guide you to those right decisions now when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows. So when you call 8338-ROCKET or visit us at rocketmortgage.com to start your refinance, you'll be well on your way to saving money every month. The rate today on our 30-year fixed rate mortgage is 3.375%, APR 3.59%. Right now could be a great time for you to take some positive financial steps forward with a cash-out refinance from Rocket Mortgage, which could give you the boost that you're looking for. In addition, we may be able to help you refinance with little or no out-of-pocket costs. At Rocket Mortgage, we're committed to every client, every time, no exceptions, no excuses, giving you the best mortgage experience. Call us today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Rates subject to change. Pay 1.875% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
The final season of inventory is happening now at Copperleaf. Experience the finest in traditional Western living and great outdoor recreation with your gorgeous 1 to 3+ acre mountainside home site. Priced from only $79.9. Plus, for a limited time, pay no closing costs. This spectacular mountain paradise offers pristine Rocky Mountain views, private access to the historic Shoshone River for incredible blue ribbon trout fishing, a prime location next to the entrance of Yellowstone Park for hiking, sightseeing, and nature walks, plus modern amenities including central water and sewer, underground electric, and more. During your private Copperleaf tour, you can choose to drive your own vehicle or take advantage of our safe and sanitary tour options. Call 866-935-2636 and ask how to take a live video tour of your beautiful 1 to 3+ acre mountainside home site, priced from only $79.9 at Copperleaf. Don't wait. 866-935-2636 to take a live video tour of Copperleaf or visit copperleafwyoming.com.
When Ben Hogan founded his company in 1953, his mission was to make the finest golf equipment in the world. That remains our mission today.
Wow.
We forge every club we make to provide the feel and feedback investment cash clubs simply cannot provide. And our craftsmen micro-manufacture.
I'll do one now.
Specifications in our Fort Worth, Texas factory. You'll only find Ben Hogan golf equipment at benhogangolf.com. Visit us online. You'll be glad you did.
Oh, we have the Fauci audio. Let's do that after the Ben Hogan.
Scratching beneath the surface. It's the second level, presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
So now I can actually tell you this through experience. This isn't just me reading a script or anything like that. This is me telling you I have actually gone online and have actually checked out and even placed an order. And I'm not getting anything for free, no discount here. I have now checked it out thoroughly to the point in which, and this is breaking news, nobody in my family, I should be saving up for an addition or something like that. I wisely spent my money on benhogangolf.com's amazing fitted clubs. I mean, these things are absolutely ridiculous. Before I even get to where I was and looking at these amazing irons that I got, if you didn't know, the Ben Hogan Golf Equipment Company was founded by Mr. Hogan himself way back in 1953. It was a pretty good year for him. won the Open Championship, U.S. Open, the Masters. Now the new company, incorporated late in 2017, has been offering tour-quality, handcrafted premium products online exclusively at benhogangolf.com. And I tested it out because I'm thinking, well, maybe I can get something similar at my Course Pro Shop. Despite power being out, trees down everywhere, and multiple signs of the apocalypse upon us in the Northeast, still was able to slide on over to the Golf Course Pro Shop, even asked my local pro, and was told immediately, get out. And not for the typical reasons that I'm told get out. It's more so get out and go online and go to Ben Hogan Golf. He told me to go to benhogangolf.com because that's the only place that I could get the specific handcrafted iron. And best part about it is that it's essentially coming half off. Because if you didn't realize this already, we've been telling you this now, Ben Hogan Golf Equipment, it's not sold through the traditional golf retailers. You can't get it at the big box stores or even, as I mentioned, the pro shops at your course. The company's cost structure has been reduced, so the retail markup is eliminated, typically around 40% or more. Imagine that. You're getting clubs 40 to 50% off, which is what I did. The promise remains. Mr. Hogan's himself saying, design and manufacture the best golf clubs in the world with the most exacting tolerances modern machinery will allow. That goal and promise remains true today. Each and every club is built one at a time, no mass production, to exacting specifications. Fort Worth, Texas, they employ a strong yet small team of engineers, designers, craftsmen, assemblers. It's amazing what they have, and this is what you can do. All of these programs available for you. benhogangolf.com, where you can get a risk-free 14-day demo program. There's a trade-up program for older or used equipment, and yep, that's exactly what I did. Found a couple of these irons that I'm hacking around with and said, nope, I need to upgrade my equipment. I traded up. No charge customization, same price for steel or graphite shafts. That's huge. No charge for length, lie, or grip size changes. Free domestic shipping on all orders over $500 and interest-free financing. For those out there who need it, understand that this is affordable. It's going to be affordable in some way or another, and it's all courtesy of benhogangolf.com. At Shander Shows, how you get me on Twitter, twitch.tv/Shander Show. And I'm not joking, man. After the weekend that I had, have a lesson tomorrow and made sure that I went out there and got the right type of clubs fitted. And that's the best thing is if you know they're going to fit for you and they're going to give you an online fitter and they're going to run through everything, then why not take full advantage of it? I can't wait. I'll tell you in about 2 weeks when these things come. All right. So if you might have missed the Belmont because nobody's been talking about horse racing now with the Kentucky Derby pushed back. But we had a call, and just think about what this is, the metaphor that this is, because so many people have been yelling and screaming for months that they feel like prisoners in their own home as a result of this lockdown. The pandemic hits, people are dying, and then there's a stay-at-home order, there's a quarantine, and you have to do something. I got to get out. I got to get out. I feel like a prisoner of my own home. And of course, a lot of their frustration has been centered at Dr. Fauci, because as the voice of medical science and reason, he somehow was then turned into, for the people that wanted to be back out on the streets and back doing stuff, he turned into that poster child for the reason why they can't be. Like, all of the theories that were surrounding Fauci. So when you hear this call and the two horses that came down to the wire, it is something you could not write. The name of the horse that beat the horse named Fauci, and this is the Belmont.
The two of them are stride for stride. They've got 3 lengths on Indoctrinate in third. Garoppolo is down towards the inside in fourth, and Teresa is fifth. Fauci on the outside and Prisoner on the inside as the two of them hit the quarter pole. And it is Fauci who has a head in front. Prisoner continues to battle on the inside. Indoctrinate in third. Prisoner is prevailing here with an 1/8 of a mile to the finish. Fauci on the outside runs in second. Now a 16th out, and Prisoner has opened up. Prisoner will win his debut going away. Prisoner took no prisoners today, won by 4.5 lengths. Fauci was second.
Now, there has to be some better way of calling that. Like, there has to be a phrase you can say, prisoner defeats Fauci, or like, prisoner is free from Fauci. Isn't there something you can say to play on the whole metaphor of people who have felt like they've been prisoners in their homes over the quarantine, pandemic, stay-at-home order, and have blamed Dr. Fauci as a result of that, and then seeing some sort of cathartic moment play out at the Belmont? Like, there has to be a better way in order to call that. And all I'm asking for is just one little phrase at the end. And I don't know. This is all Monday morning quarterbacking here. I didn't have a plan ahead of time. I didn't come in with 6 phrases written down that you out there could choose from. This is just typical me hearing the cut thinking, wait a second. And I'm not even going to go down the road because I don't even think that guy was there. My guess is that the guy calling that race was not even there watching it live, which happens. People do it from a van or from a studio, wherever. But if he was there calling it live, then my goodness, where was the energy? You need to give me a little more. Prisoner free from Fauci. And then he can go on and say, well, prisoner. I mean, wouldn't that be better? Prisoner took no prisoners? Really? That's it? That's the best you could do? Prisoner took no prisoners, and that's what you're going to leave it at. I think mine's a little better. I'm open to suggestions. I think there are probably about 50 other ones that could fly a little better than mine, but still, as long as and that was on the fly, and this guy probably had time. Prisoner, Fauci. How do you not see the list of names of horses ahead of time? See prisoner, see Fauci, and put something together. Maybe he was just 16 or 17 races deep. Probably didn't even know the difference. It's a blown opportunity. That's all I'd say. It's a missed moment. The NBA has put out alternatives to home court advantage. The higher seeded team transports actual hardwood home court to Orlando, and the higher seeded teams get hotel choice priority. Well, I don't necessarily know how that's a home court advantage. What I do see, the other 3 elements that should help: the higher seeded team gets possession to start the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th quarters. Okay, that's a little bit of a help. What you do with that possession, of course, matters. Where you are in the game, especially 3rd and 4th, could definitely be a nice momentum builder or stopper. Higher seeded team designates 1 player to be allowed 7 fouls before fouling out. I want to come back to that in a sec. Higher seeded team receives 1 extra coach's challenge. Okay. I don't necessarily know how transporting, unless we're talking about the Bolts and that famous Cheers episode where Kevin McHale was way too focused counting them in the floor than playing in the actual game, and you're bringing dead spots from the hardwood. I don't necessarily know if that's really going to help you. And the other question I have is this whole thing about higher seeded teams getting hotel choice priority. Is there that big of a difference? Like, are half of the teams staying in the Days Inn, no knocking the Days Inn, and the other half staying at the Ritz? Is it basically like a lottery? And then how is that going to work? Because if you're the 2nd seed or the 4th seed, is that locked in, or is that going to change? Especially if there's an upset. Let's say the Sixers beat the Celtics. Well, they should also get their hotel rooms, right? See, that's what I'm saying is if you go home early and you're now set in a nice hotel to start the playoffs, because there's going to be seeding for these 8 games or so, and the higher seeded teams get the hotel choice priority, well, give it up. If the Celtics get knocked out in the first round by the Sixers, and the Sixers, as a result of them being the lesser, the 6th seed, let's just say all things remain the same right now, Sixers are 6 and the Celtics are 3, then Philadelphia is going to get the lesser hotel choice priority. And the reason why I'm bringing this up and having fun with it is because how different could the hotels really be? Are we talking about rooms on 1 floor versus the top floor? I mean, how much change could there really be in these hotels that you're staying in? And if it's that big of a deal to where you have to put this out as hotel choice priority, then I'm guessing you should probably make some sort of amendment or change to that if there's a team that upsets. Yeah, buddy, Bo 316 on Twitch, twitch.tv/Shander Show. Only the top seed gets room service. Seriously, what is the benefit? Unless it's something drastic and noticeable. Unless you're looking at the difference in hotels and thinking, wow, that's a $69.99 a night stay versus a $2 to $3.99 a night stay. And I can't imagine that NBA teams are going to be relegated to a special where if you spend the night, you also get a complimentary breakfast, as opposed to staying in a place that will serve you meals at 2 a.m. just as you call down to the kitchen. Probably a big difference, right? A microwavable breakfast versus, sure, it's 2:30 in the morning, Mr. James, but we'll gladly cook you something. At Shander Show, twitch.tv/Shander Show. Hit fake news next.
The Odds with Matt Perrault.
Tim Brando on Twitter to follow him, joining us on the Progressive guest line. People are saying without students on campus, you can't play college football.
We can thank Mark Emmert for opening his mouth and inserting foot. Mark Emmert has no jurisdiction really over college football, but there's a little thing called the 1984 Supreme Court lawsuit won by the Universities of Georgia and Oklahoma that forced the NCAA out of the financial realm of college football. It's like the guy in the California system making this sweeping statement about nothing but online classes later in the year, and he's making the decision with data in May. These guys that just want to see their names in print making bold decisions that they don't have to make, they illustrate what happens with misuse of power. And the real leaders are doing the right things behind the scenes, and they'll make their splash when the time comes. And I'm telling you, I think that time will be sometime next month.
Pushing the Odds with Matt Perrault. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 4 Eastern on SB Nation Radio. Pharrell.
Coast to coast. The Raiders making almost, $500 million in PSLs in their new stadium. I always told you, they're going to be the most profitable team in the NFL one day. Count on it because of Vegas and because of that stadium and the amount of events they're going to have there and Super Bowls and Final Fours and everything else. Just the Raiders alone are going to make so much money, make your head spin.
Pharrell Coast to Coast with Scott Pharrell. Weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern. The Jake Asman Show.
Adam Schefter joining us. How big of an advantage do you have during the football season when you're playing in your fantasy league and you're getting the inside scoop on the injury report before anyone else has?
Not as big as you think. I remember one time a head coach, Tim Hasselbeck, was playing Matthew Berry. I needed Tim to beat Matthew to make the playoffs. And I had a coach tell me, hey, this wide receiver's going to have a big game today. And I called Tim. I'm like, hey, this guy's on the waiver wire. Go pick him up. And he's like, okay. I said, get him in your lineup today against Matthew. We need a win. And on one of the very first plays of the game, the team threw a long pass to the guy. Guy dropped the pass. Guy was benched, didn't play again. So I always say, the more you know, the less you know. And I found that to be true over and over and over again, where you hear, oh, boy, this guy's a big part of the game plan, or we'll plan on featuring this guy. And sometimes it's right, but a lot of times it's not. So when you ask what kind of advantage I have, I say not as big as you think.
The Jake Asman Show. Weekday mornings from 9 to 11 Eastern.
If business, pleasure, or sports fandom takes you to Houston, Dallas, Austin, Fort Worth, or San Antonio, check out CultureMap.com to get the scoop on the local favorites. From the best restaurants, bars, pubs, and clubs to the biggest sights and sounds each city has to offer, CultureMap has it all. Just head over to CultureMap.com. The expert team personally reviews and visits each spot to make sure you get the best experience. And if you're coming back, sign up for free CultureMap updates at CultureMap.com.
So, can I ask you a question?
Fake news with Ron. With all the fake news out there,
Don't believe those lies.
it's on Shander to give it to you straight. 3 stories, but only one is fake.
It's true. I know it's the weird thought, but it's true.
Can Shander spot the fraud? Here's Ron Culver.
There are days where I just try to go really outlandish, and then there are days like today where I actually do achieve going really outlandish.
Well, what's the goal today? I should warn you, by the way, before you even answer, my mouth is so cut up from eating this cereal that I don't know if I'll make it through the McMullen interview.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I've been addicted to this dry cereal, the peanut butter and cocoa dots healthy cereal from, it's dubbed as a healthy cereal, Nature's Promise from Whole Foods. And I told you, I'm one of these people where if I buy that from Whole Foods, I can eat the whole box and think like, oh, it's healthy.
I mean, do you really need to? You can still talk with a cut up mouth. Just don't be swigging any mouthwash right now.
Okay, I'm gonna be quiet and let you roll and see if I can nurse.
Well, you can't be quiet because you have to interject.
Well, I will interject at some point, but I'm just trying to bide my time here.
All right, story number 1. A Canadian man is facing charges from an incident just before Christmas when his pet goose attacked a woman who was wearing an ugly duckling Christmas sweater.
His pet goose?
His pet goose.
Now, I've never seen anybody walk a pet goose. Where is this again?
In Canada.
Okay, Canada. Just making sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm not familiar with the town. I think it's somewhere in like Saskatchewan.
Yeah,
area
that makes sense.
Somewhere in the middle of the country.
Okay. Is that it?
Yeah, he's just facing charges from a.
What are the charges? Is this the same as if
his
your dog?
His pet goose attacked a woman wearing an ugly Christmas sweater. I'm sure it's aggravated pet assault, or I don't know what Canadian charges. Probably just a slap on the wrist and a sorry.
Okay. I thought that it might be something like similar to where if your dog is aggressive,
you have to put the goose down.
Yeah. Did they put the goose down? Did they?
Yeah, they made a comfortable pillow out of it, Eitan.
Or maybe do they
It's
still?
Canada.
Do
they do things a little bit nicer up there. I don't think they just go around killing every animal.
Not every animal, but a goose that goes off the leash, goes off the hook.
I mean, that's true. I'm just surprised he got it back. I don't even know how you have a pet goose.
No, I don't either. I don't know what you get from that. Like, what's the reward from a pet goose? Does a goose even know who you are, what you are? What's the short-term memory of a goose?
Not sure.
I
think but I think if you raise it from a little hatchling or a gelding, I think that's what they're called, gelding. Yeah, you probably. I think it would know you, would recognize you. When you see them on farms, there's ducks on farms and goose on farms that never leave the farm.
Do you think that it's simply a matter of repetition and through recognition, where it's like
probably
you're the same person feeding them?
I've gone and seen pet shows where I didn't think it would be possible, but they had ducks that were trained to do a certain act.
Okay, maybe duck is a little smarter of an animal than I give it credit for. Even more reason that you should be able to train it to not attack somebody.
Yeah.
And why the heck was somebody wearing a Mother Goose costume anyway?
No, an ugly duckling Christmas sweater. I guess it was a play on ugly sweater, but it was an ugly duckling Christmas. I don't know.
Okay.
Irony. Story number 2, Wallet Hub. You ever hear of it?
Wallet Hub.
Hub?
No.
It's a personal finance website that you can go to and check out and figure out, how to save and all that fun stuff. Anyways, they came out with the safest states in which to live in. They had their set of criteria, and these are the top 5 safest states to live in. Number 1 is Maine. Number 2, Vermont. Number 3, Minnesota. Number 4, Utah. Number 5, Wyoming.
What was the criteria? Do you know?
Well, I don't have it flying right where I need it. Forgot where I saw it.
Okay. But I wonder,
give me a second, and I'll.
Is it just murders or the lowest per capita? Is it?
I think it's. I know they had.
You said safe. That's why I put crime in there. And sometimes, like nicest doesn't always factor in that. But when you use the term safe,
I know there was like 5 different key elements that they needed.
And what about New Hampshire? No love for New Hampshire?
Then make the top 5.
How does Maine and Vermont? That's what I'm trying to figure out. How does Maine and Vermont make the top 5, but New Hampshire doesn't?
Okay, so here's the 5 key dimensions: personal and residential safety, financial safety, road safety, workplace safety, and emergency preparedness.
I don't know what would separate New Hampshire from Vermont in that case, or Maine for that matter. Maine is a bigger state than both. Don't you think there would be more opportunity? Portland, Maine, you're telling me, is bigger than Montpelier, Vermont, or Burlington, Vermont? As far as
I haven't been either.
Oh, Burlington, Vermont is a destination, my friend.
Is it?
Yes. Do you ski, snowboard?
Is that where the coat factory is?
I don't know where the Burlington Coat Factory is. As far is that like where Grant's tomb is? Where he's?
No, I have no idea. All I know is it's a popular chain store, Burlington.
Oh no,
Coat
I know
Factory.
exactly, but I think it's out of. For some reason, I thought it was out of Burlington, New Jersey.
Oh, is it?
But I could be wrong. Yeah,
I could be. I thought sure Vermont. The only thing I really know that comes out of Vermont is Ben and Jerry's ice cream.
Corporate offices to Burlington.com are in Burlington, New Jersey.
There you go.
So yeah, that's see again,
false advertising,
fake news here. All right, we got to get to story 3 before McMullen.
Story number 3: an elderly Belgian man has been getting false pizza orders for nearly 10 years.
Still during the pandemic,
and he shakes in fear whenever he hears the pizza scooter coming.
Okay, wait a second. How loud and infiltrating of a sound is the pizza scooter?
I don't know, but he's been receiving fake pizzas. He can receive anywhere from 1 to 2 up to 14 per day. And it's been going on every day for the last almost 10 years now.
What is going on in this person's life that nobody has been brought? See, this thing
he keeps returning them, and they keep coming back.
Okay.
For almost 10 years.
The problem with this story is that it should not be true. But people are so stupid on this planet. And when I mean stupid, I don't mean the old guy who keeps getting the fake deliveries. I mean the pizza place that keeps going out there. Why do they keep going out there? Like this is going to be the time? I mean, what's the best example? It's some cartoon or like something out of The Simpsons. Oh, okay. Well, this is the time. Now's going to be. All right, I'll give you one where Lisa Simpson was doing an experiment on Bart. This is an old Simpsons. And is her brother dumber than a hamster? Hamster touches a cupcake and gets shocked, immediately doesn't touch the cupcake again. Meanwhile, here comes Bart. Touches the cupcake, gets shocked. Oh, a wise guy, huh? Touches it again. Does the whole Three Stooges thing. Keeps touching it. At some point, don't you just blame the person who keeps touching it? So, yeah, I want to say story 3 is fake just because, my goodness, how can these people be so irresponsible and keep losing all this money? Unless they find a way to sell that pizza again for the second time. All right, what the hell? I'll say story 3 is fake, although I know it probably is true just because people are that stupid. We'll see what John McMullen says. He's got a good radar for stupidity. We'll talk to him next.
Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. When you turn to Rocket Mortgage, we can help guide you to those right decisions now when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so now is a great time to call 8338-ROCKET. And if you need some extra money, a cash-out refinance could give you that financial boost you're looking for. Call today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
At Fidelity, we understand priorities can change. So when you partner with a dedicated advisor from Fidelity Wealth Management, they will help you develop a personalized wealth strategy, one that can be flexible enough to evolve as your needs change. Plus, they can offer investing strategies designed to reduce the impact of taxes, all while making sure you understand what you're paying and why. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC.
For the ones we trust to always be there. For the ones caring for others. For the ones who keep things going, no matter where they are. In extraordinary times, extraordinary people step up, like the ones standing guard and standing on the front lines, and the ones who are staying apart while still working together. With your efforts, we will get through this. We're grateful for all you do. Visit Grainger.com for resources that can help as you create your recovery plan. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Attention! This is a public notice from the Social Security Disability Helpline. If you're one of the millions of Americans who are disabled and unable to work, you may be eligible for disability benefits from Social Security. Receiving benefits is your right. If you suffer from physical or mental disability, whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied, we can help. We'll evaluate your situation and deal with Social Security on your behalf. Best of all, there's no fee until you receive your benefits. Remember, we only get paid if you win your case. There are many reasons and conditions that may make you eligible for disability benefits. Many of them you may not be aware of. So if you're disabled and unable to work, call now to get started with your free, no-obligation consultation.
800-477-5395. 800-477-5395. That's 800-477-5395.
My name is Megan Eddings, founder and CEO of Excel Lifestyle. Research shows that wearing a face mask drastically reduces the spread of the coronavirus. Excel Lifestyle's Prima antibacterial face masks are soft, washable, and double layer for added protection. To purchase you and your loved one's face mask, please go to excellifestyle.com. That's ACCEL lifestyle.com. Once we receive your order, we will ship your masks out immediately. Thank you and stay safe.
John's ready.
Okay.
Scratching beneath the surface. It's the second level, presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
So there is some news regarding the NFL that's not fake, and we'll get to that coming up with our NFL insider, John McMullen, who is everywhere here on SB Nation Radio with myself. You'll hear him on the Tony Bruno Show evenings. You'll also hear him and read him, phillyvoice.com, alongside me, as well as si.com, where I'm not there. Just John holding it down, Eagles Maven. All right, John, Ron's going to recap the stories. I went 3, and I even said it twice. It's like, I know I shouldn't use the 9-iron. I know I shouldn't use the 9-iron. I had the pitching wedge in my hand, and I still went back and grabbed the 9-iron and swung and flew the green. So I went number 3, even though I know it's not somehow in my head. But Ron's going to recap the 3, and he'll take it away.
All right, story number 1, a Canadian man is facing charges from an incident that happened just before Christmas when his pet goose attacked a woman who was wearing an ugly duckling Christmas sweater.
Is it too late to change my vote, or am I locked in?
It's your show, man. You can do whatever you want.
Well, yeah, but the more I hear that now, you say that as you just did, the more I'm thinking, like, I could hear you saying after John says 2, I say 3. I could hear Ron Culver saying, come on, guys, are you kidding me? There's no story about a goose attacking somebody in a sweater.
Gooses are violent.
I didn't know that.
Curb your enthusiasm, right?
Well, yeah,
they're violent. I can buy that.
Okay,
it's early.
That's story 1, though. Okay,
Story number 2, Wallet Hub. It's a personal finance website. Recently came out with the safest states in which to live, and here's their top 5: Maine, Vermont, Minnesota, Utah, Wyoming.
Bad time to say Minnesota, but typically I would think before this,
Minnesota
people
nice.
would think, Minnesota nice, and that makes sense.
And
so I'm that's at least believable.
And finally, story number 3, an elderly Belgian man has been getting false pizza orders for nearly 10 years.
False pizza orders for nearly 10 years.
He receives
simple.
anywhere from 1 to 2.
It's the same place.
From 1 to 2 pizzas, or 1 to 2 pizzas, up to 14 pizzas per day for the last 10 years.
2020. You know what the difficulty of this segment is? It's too easy for Ron. This is the year of murder hornets and Spanish porn stars and
I didn't even bring that one up. That was going to be that's a once in the road,
Eitan. Because everyone totes psychedelics because everyone knows it. Everyone knows that.
I don't run in those circles.
So anything could be true. I'm going on my curb knowledge. I'm going to say geese can be violent. So I'm going to buy that. I'm going 3. I would think the Belgian guy would pick up the phone and say, "Look, I'm getting bad orders at some point in that 10-year span."
Well, how about the same pizza place falling for the banana in the tailpipe every single time?
Oh, exactly. That's why I'm going with it.
Ron?
But again,
which one is it, Ron?
Story number 1 is fake.
I told you. I knew it. I knew it. I hate this game.
David ruined it for me.
I'm done with this game.
Yeah, I mean, there is a video out there of
How
a
is
man
this
walking
possible?
a pet goose, which is really funny because what makes it funny is the guy filming it. His laugh is extremely funny, and that's where that kind of the birth of that story came from. But no, a Belgian man has been receiving pizza. He's 65 years old. He loses sleep whenever he hears the pizza scooter going by, and he's been receiving pizzas every single day for the last 9 years, and he receives anywhere from 1 to 2 pizzas up to 14 pizzas per day.
And it's the
He
same place.
always sends them back. I don't know if it's always the same place.
Oh, I see. Okay, I thought for
because
some
the
reason it
other
was.
the other thing is
I gotta believe it's not the same place.
you hope it's not the same
come on.
place.
Yeah.
Well, how many pizza places are there in
I don't
Belgium?
know. That guy's going to get a job with NFL Belgium because he is a reactive person. He's not proactive. You got to take care of that. At some point, 7, 8 years in, like I said,
he calls him. He sends him back every single time. And that's why I think it's different pizza places. Because the other clue that he has is that a friend of his who lives in the next town over, she's been dealing with the same issue.
What's going on in Belgium?
I don't know, but we need to track
Maybe
down
it's too
this-
much beer.
I need to track down a pizza place that this guy lives near and figure out what's going on and how they could continue. We'll
You're
put
going
it
to
on
ruin
there.
him a pie. I know what you're going to do, Eitan.
I think it's a moral obligation to.
Absolutely. Extra anchovies, if you remember.
Does anybody know the Belgian call code so I can get this guy a pie?
Well, I
didn't
don't know. I mean,
pizza was
who's
that popular
look? I hate to be. I wouldn't even. It's not xenophobic. It's not isolationist. I'd hate to be a snob because I'd say this about pizza. I've said this about pizza in Nashville and Columbus, Ohio, where I've worked. So I'll say it about Belgium as well. They ain't making pizza. I mean, unless they're
making Chicago deep dish.
No,
in
but
Belgium.
they're probably making a perversion of real Italian pizza, which is not close to what real Italian pizza is. You know, like it's probably not as bad as our pizza, but I can't imagine that pizza is a leading cuisine in Belgium, right?
Well, you know, it is. I mean, it is Europe. It is close to Italy. It is. You can. I mean,
It's not
you never know.
too close.
I don't know. You know, I'm going to take people's
You
advice.
think
I'm
Antwerp?
going to step back on that now. I'm going to listen. I'm not an expert on Belgian pizza, so I'm just going to sit back and listen.
Okay, here's the thing, though. I am an expert on New York City pizza. All right, my stomach and body is Exhibit A. So if I know how difficult it is to copy and paste that cuisine, is it too much of a leap? In fact, I've Googled pizza in Belgium, and I'm getting a lot of chain stores coming up. That should tell you everything.
No, that surprises me, that there's a lot of chain store pizza in Belgium. See? I'm learning a lot today.
You are learning a lot. Now, let's start with the news in the NFL, and we'll get your reaction to what's going on.
There's news?
Well, yeah, it looks as if, as far as camps are concerned, right, that everything is going to be moving forward, and there is no real change from the plan regarding camps and players coming back so long as they're injured and need to be able to rehab, right?
Yeah, I thought you were going to go Drew Brees.
No, we could end on Drew Brees.
But I'll say. But I mean, memo came out today. Essentially, coaches can be part of as you're opening facilities across the country. So by Friday. So this thing did ramp up pretty quickly. And yeah, I mean, there was that report early in this process when everything started to move forward that maybe they were going to try to hurry up and get some on-field mini camp action before June 26th. I mentioned on the show at the time, that's just pushing things. There's no need for that to race to that for 3 days of essentially what would be just introductory for the rookies and even the free agents and the first-year players around teams around the country. So I always thought that didn't make a lot of sense. And they made a prudent decision and said, let's not worry about that, and let's make sure everything's ready for training camp. And I think that's the best case scenario. And everybody's got to stay home, which most teams are. About a third of the league, I think it was 10 teams last year, went away for training camp. So everything was moving in that direction anyway, even before the pandemic. So, and there's no joint practices as well. So everybody's going to be flying blind, and we'll see how this, shakes out. I think the biggest part that everybody glosses over is what happens when somebody tests positive, which inevitably will happen. Obviously, if you're going forward with this plan, you're not going to shut things down. So you're going to have these 2-week quarantines, and everybody's going to get checked, and it's going to be difficult. I don't think there's any question about that.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be one thing we'll have to realize when we get to it, because we still don't know what the climate's going to be like. We don't know what the virus is going to be like. We don't know what the data. We've got a couple of weeks coming in of data of Memorial Day weekend still trickling, as well as what happened over the last 10 days with people out and about all over the country.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting to see that trickle in and to see if there's a spike, which in theory there should be.
Well, what if there isn't?
So I think.
I know, because I don't have a ton of time. So let me just cut it, because I guarantee you a lot of people are going to ask you that question about, well, what if there's a spike? What if there's a spike? Because that's really the obvious way to go. But I'm curious, in your opinion, John, as somebody who covers this league and has covered it for a long time, you know which way they kind of lean with stuff like this, big picture PR stuff. What if there isn't a spike? What if the numbers suggest that it's okay to be on the Ocean City, Maryland boardwalk, like it's okay to be next to 59,999 people at a protest in Houston? Will the NFL not open up their doors in mass capacity?
I unless it's really, really dramatic and a spike that causes basically the entire country into another lockdown, or certainly large portions of the country into a lockdown, I don't think that's going to happen. Now, you mentioned, what if it doesn't happen? I mean, if it doesn't happen, I think the floodgates are open. I think then we're talking about full stadiums week one. I don't think we're talking about social distancing, talking about other ideas, talking about maybe limiting to 15, 20,000 fans, depending on the size of the building, of the stadium. So I do think these next few weeks are important for both ends of that spectrum. Where does the data lead us? Where does it take us? But I think if it takes us in a positive direction, it's only going to speed things up. I mean, it's going to go from 55 to you're out in Montana and you can go as fast as you want.
All right, John, what's going on right now throughout the NFL regarding the reaction to not only Drew Brees' comments, but of course the apology that followed up? I see a lot of people coming out, players alike, upset. I saw we played the Demario Davis audio saying that Brees is a leader for acknowledging. Tony Dungy's coming out saying people should be able to say stuff. And then, of course, there are a lot of people on Twitter, which is never a barometer. But what's happening around the NFL that you've noticed?
Well, I think, I mean, on Twitter, it's a mob mentality, and they're trying to take down Drew Brees. Off Twitter, I think it's more lucid. I think you could say that about any problem, any issue in this entire country. You know, it's funny. We had significant storms in my neighborhood, and you know, I started thinking about this, and I haven't had power since last night. A lot of people are much worse off, had trees down, damage to their homes, so I got lucky from that standpoint. But, you know, basically the entire neighborhood, and that's the next question, everybody's going to say, yeah, no, there's different faces, and there's different races, and all coming together to help each other out. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm out here picking up people's tree limbs and things like that. Not one person gave me a litmus test. Not one. Not one person said, "Hey, do you like Donald Trump? Hey, do you think I should be able to kneel or do I have to stand for the national anthem?" Not one litmus test. Then I'm thinking my birthday's coming up later this month. I'm not a young guy, Eitan.
Right.
And then I started thinking, I have never gotten a litmus test in public before in my life. Not one. I get 10 on social media before I finish my morning coffee. That's your problem. I mean, if your bar is going to be Drew Brees, and all you got to do is look up this guy's history, this guy's altruism. A couple weeks ago, he gave millions of dollars to COVID-19 relief in New Orleans. I mean, if that's going to be the bar, and the average person has to reach Drew Brees' level of trying to help his community, and he's taken down, none of us can reach it. I'm not going to say none of us, but 99% of us can't reach it. I know I can't reach it. You guys can answer that question for yourself. I mean, where are we in this country? Malcolm Jenkins, I have tremendous respect for Malcolm Jenkins. I know the man personally. I saw the emotion. But you're going to tell me you know Drew Brees for 20 years, you know his heart, you consider him a close friend, and on June 3rd, because of something he said to Yahoo Finance that you don't agree with, that is irreparably repaired? When I see Malcolm, I'll say that to his face. Right. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. So burn the bridges, come at me. This needs to stop. It really does.
John, appreciate it, man. Be smart out there. Be safe. Hopefully your power's back. I know in my area it's the same thing. It's spotty by all means, but always appreciate you, man, and we'll chat Tuesday. Thank you for your time and your insight.
All right, thanks, buddy.
You got it. John McMullen at JF McMullen. We'll wrap the hour next on the second level.
Game time decisions.
What's up, everybody? I am Gabriel Morency inviting you. No, I'm not inviting you. I'm telling you. Join me and a Raging Redhead Cam Stewart weekdays at 6 Eastern as we throw it down on the loudest station in the nation, SB Nation Radio. It's Game Time Decisions with Gabriel Morency and a Raging Redhead Cam Stewart. Weekdays at 6 Eastern on SB Nation Radio. Bring it.
Game Time Decisions with Gabe Morency and Cam Stewart. Weekdays at 6 p.m. Eastern.
Wake up call.
Elon Musk is a brilliant guy. We'd all agree, right?
Oh, yeah.
Have we talked about what he named his kid?
No, I don't think we ever did.
How do you pronounce this? I mean,
I don't know. I can't wait till this kid's old enough and he goes, I'm changing my name to Michael. And they go, oh, yeah, what was your name before? I'm Elon Musk's kid.
Yeah.
You tell me.
Do we have to call him the artist formerly known as Elon Musk?
Yeah,
maybe?
exactly. You might know my dad as this super brilliant billionaire scientist. I know him as a lunatic that named me an unpronounceable name.
What I want to know is when they yell at him, what are they saying?
Yeah, right. If I'm his kid, I go, until you can properly pronounce this nonsense, I'm going to do whatever the hell I want. How about that? So good luck, Mom and Dad. I'm going to go smoke and drink and drive a car at 10. Bye.
Wake Up Call with Tony D and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings.
Wake up call.
It's really weird how gambling is now embraced and everyone acts like they never hated it or bothered by it before.
You know what else is getting that same love? Weed.
Same thing.
For years it was taboo, and now we're getting to that point like, it's not that bad.
No, it's not that bad. Same thing with gambling.
Which my state will legalize it.
Yeah, right. There's a lot of people doing this. Okay, all right,
Wake Up Call with Tony D and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings. Into the night.
Ladies and gentlemen, the man, no matter what they're paying him at TNT,
it's not enough.
Ain't enough. The great Charles Barkley. Chuck, you said it earlier. Shaq said it. They shouldn't bother to even finish this season. Do you still believe it? I know you said that they are going to play. Do you still believe that it's not worth playing?
Listen, I'm 100% sure they're going to play just from what I'm hearing from my people.
but I just don't know how it's going to be safe. I really don't. I would hate for something bad to happen, and I would hate to see one of the stars get hurt and they lose in the first round or second round of the playoffs to an inferior team. Let me tell you something. You can have 100 players on a team in the NBA. If you lose Giannis, LeBron, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, it don't matter about those other 99. That's the thing that scares me. If Giannis gets sick and has to miss the first round of the playoffs, the Milwaukee Bucks are not going to win. They're out. That wouldn't be fair at all.
Into the Night with Tony Bruno and Harry Mays. Weeknights at 10 Eastern. You're listening to The Second Level, presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, with way more than the scores. Here's Eitan Shander.
All right, I don't know how much time we really have here. And that's my fault. We went a little long, but John was going, so sometimes we let him just riff. Did you see this? It just came out, WGAL, with the report.
WGAL or WGAL?
WGAL. According to a health official, no new COVID-19 cases from parties at Lake of Ozarks. Now, remember all those parties that everybody was making fun of and all?
They're going to kill us all.
Look, apparently not even asymptomatic cases, just no new cases. The funny part about social media and Twitter is that you had people at that party being made fun of by people who are now protesting, who have been made fun of by the people at that party, and it's just a cycle. There you go. Fans in the stands.
COVID's over.
At this point, shit. All right, man, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Have a good one.
You too. Thanks.